I learned how to reset when I was young and we were coming out of poverty. I had to deal with high school. I had to deal with a lot of this stuff that I have no information, no guidance, none of that. I get gunned down and there was another reset there, right? I had my whole life got pulled under me, right? I had to reset. And mind you, I didn't know even the word reset was a thing. It was more a survival mechanism, right? It was me like, you either sit there and you always hear me say, you either sit in it or you do something about it.
Welcome back to the Paralyzed Podcast, where we focus on business, leadership, and personal development. Hey, I'm gonna keep it 100. I found the hack. I gotta go to the gym before the podcast. That's just the hack. That's just the I got great energy this morning. What about y'all, man? Talk to me.
That energy boy, right? That energy boy helps you when you go to the gym and just go right into that you know, that whether it's that pre-work, like your boy uses pre-work all the time. Yeah, I do. I can't. I'm guilty of it. That if I don't drink coffee, I don't do. That's my caffeine. But the energy, you know, that stimulating that energy within yourself and just kind of get it from the gym, and everything is so much easier, and you're having fun and you're smiling while you're doing it, because there's this thing, this self-satisfaction, right? If I'm saying that right, that when you go to the gym, you check something off that most likely you don't want to do, but you feel good. You're like, yo, let's go. What's next? So yeah, that energy is huge after the gym, bro. I'm good, man.
And the people that be there,
huh?
The people that be there in the morning time, they you know, they got that energy. Most of those people have that energy. They're not really forcing themselves. It's those people that are in their routine.
I don't know what gym. I don't know what gym you've been into, bro. But like, I look around. There's some people in there just hating their life, bro. Like that they're even in there. I'll be honest with you. There was a season when I was going to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. That means I was up by like 4 something. Get to the gym at 5. Yeah, I did that for a while, man. And that's a whole different level of commitment. And you know, folks really, you know, it's like, yo, they gotta get to work at 7. They got to get in there before that, because if they don't, by the time they get home at 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, they're burnt out for the day. And so I get it, man. But it's like, yeah, man, they're not happy. You don't see too many of those folks at 5 o'clock in the morning smiling, wanting to have a conversation.
I think, see, you know, it's crazy because I think now that goes with living in like a suburban area almost. Because I feel like a lot of those people own businesses. There's a lot of bodybuilders in there. It's a lot of fitness people. So it's a bit different of a vibe. They're very happy and they're ready to go. I really don't see a lot of people dragging. It's crazy.
Yeah. I want to go to that gym.
I don't like, how's the grind been going? I know you've been on the grind lately.
Talk about gym. Let's talk about gym.
I wouldn't be one of those people dragging in the morning. That's why you see me. I already one of those people. I literally tell my trainer, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna whine and complain about it, but I'll do it. Just give me time. But listen, mid curl, I'm yawning. I'm one of those people. This is what it is. He's like, you're gonna feel great. It's gonna feel great. Don't you feel good? Isn't this easy? And I'm like, no. But I'm there. Okay, I'm there. Things have been good. I'm great. Tomorrow's your girl's birthday, so I'm celebrating.
Wow, how you?
Listen, gotta be early. That's early.
2020, right? Right, says 23.
Yeah, we're going with that. Yeah. We're going with that.
Hey, what y'all didn't hear is before this, she made a whole meeting with me tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and I didn't even know it was her birthday. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, we still got to do some work, right? I'm not doing a whole lot of work now. I ain't gonna say that, but I'll do some.
Now, are you one of those people? Like, are you one of those people where that, you know, your birthday is your whole week, or is it just that day?
I don't necessarily take the whole week, but I do enjoy birthdays. I really do. So me and a few friends are going to a really nice brunch today. I'm gonna have some waffles, and some chicken and some other stuff. But balance, because I meet my trainer tonight at 7 p.m.
Let's go.
Still there.
Let's go.
I'm excited. Things have been good. I feel like I'm always busy and in a season of figuring out the next level of rest and what does that look like to be productive and yet still prioritize rest and wellness. But it's good, man. It's good. No complaints. God is good. Doors are opening. Things are moving. Money's being made. People are getting fed.
Praise God. Yo, foul fair. Foul fair that I'm one of those that believe it's my birthday month. I like
Yeah, see, I see your face. I think you'll say that when I see your face when I say
The month.
the month. Like I was never like that. But I think as I'm getting older, I'm like I should have been with y'all prior, right? I like my birthday's like my New Year's. So to me, when I had just hit 47, I was literally like, okay, like, you know, there's some things that we have to celebrate, and then there's some things that we got to really be intentional with. But as I get older, I'm still celebrating my birthday within myself, right? Like, because I think until September 27th, like after September 20th, like, you know, see, because my birthday's at the ending of August. You know, we can't be on that foolishness, but, and I don't mean celebrating like going out there chilling, but it's more like
You're the only person I know who celebrates into the next month. Most people just be like, okay, you're in August, baby. They'll celebrate the month of August.
But sis,
Not going into the next month.
but sis, 30 days, like that's a month. Like, so in my head, the way it works is like from 27 to 27, that's 3 weeks. So that's how I justify that. But yeah, is that fair or is it no? That's not. I need to get off that.
let me settle down.
Let
me settle down.
I'm just letting y'all know where my mind's at. Like as I get older, man, it might turn into like that quarter of the year. Like it'd probably be third quarter celebration for me at that point. But
What does that look like?
what does that look like? That looks like us, you know, getting to a point that we financially free. That I could say, well, listen, I love y'all, but I'm going to have this meeting out in the island somewhere, and we're going to put up the laptop. We're going to get this work, and I'm going to create some content.
So why does that have to be connected to your birthday versus just a separate time? Or does it just feel extra special?
It does. That's it right there.
I can't.
That's that Protestant in me. That's that extrovert that it just feels like, bro, 40. Imagine when I hit 50. Oh Lord. Anyway, that'll be a whole different. We're traveling. For my 50, we're traveling. We're doing something. So I'm letting y'all know. I'm letting y'all know right now. And I'm thinking about Japan. So I'll be honest with you. I'm letting y'all know right now. 50th birthday. Taking it back. I was in Japan when I was 13. And I've always been. That's always been a catalyst of me traveling. And it was the first time for me to get out of the country and just be. I was blown away by like culture and different lifestyles and just people and just in general. And that's always been that's something that I love to do, and that's why I love me in different types of spaces. But yeah, 50th, put it on the calendar. Your boy is going out to Japan, so we going out to Japan.
You know, the fact that you said that though, it kind of makes sense. You know, it definitely the two things we was talking about, what you just said and the gym, kind of goes into our subject today, because it's like the subject is resetting. And Jorge, what you said is basically for 30 days you're reflecting. So on that 30th day or even before then, you can reset. You know what I'm saying? And that's huge. That's huge. I think that when it comes down to resetting, I gave this example in one of our lives in the past, but in all actuality, the way I think about resetting is, okay, I work out 6 days a week. That 7th day is my off day. But what am I doing on that off day? I'm on the bike, stretching, I'm in the hot tub. I'm making sure that my body is fully reset. So on that when I get back to the first day back to working out, I'm clear. I know exactly what I need to do. I know that it's knees over toes now. It's not parallel squat. I know all these things because why? I took 1 day to reset. You know what I'm saying? And so just the subject of resetting has many different examples. And I just wanted to kind of tap in with y'all on how do y'all feel about resetting? And then I'll go into the second question after y'all, after you answer that one.
Ladies first. Birthday girl. Let's put it birthday girl.
Yeah, man. I think I don't know. Like you said, there's so many different angles to take it. I would just speaking for myself. One of the things that I was challenged to do is to find meaningful ways to rest. And for me, being able to rest is deeply tied to being able to reset, right? I think it's just natural part of our culture. When you own a business, when you're working, whatever, all the things of life, it's so easy for us to be on the go. And on the go to the extent of like we're missing very vital parts that we should be paying attention to. You know what I'm saying? We're missing cues from God. We're missing the communication and connection with our friends and family. Like we're missing things for the sake of getting stuff that honestly doesn't matter in the long run to get stuff done. And so I've been challenged to find ways to rest, and maybe like unconventional ways to rest. And that in just like a daily aspect helps me reset more frequently. For me, one of the things that is just, I mean, this is, it's not bad, but you know, like your girl likes to veg out on the couch. Like I love a couch. I was very particular about what type of furniture I wanted. And I bought furniture that allowed me to be comfortable, that was like just inviting and warm. And that helps. And it's stuff like that you don't think about furniture being a part of like a flow to your life. But your girl be on this couch watching some old school shows. I ain't gonna tell y'all because I don't want y'all to judge me. But some old school shows. But that has been something that I've been playing with recently of just, I spent 2 days and I didn't leave the house. I had a few conversations, but I wasn't in any rush to get anything done. I literally took naps and, you know, ate my snacks and watched some movies that I enjoyed. And it's so simple and yet it's so complicated because when you do take that time to slow down to try to implement whatever that reset is, there's always something that's going to come up. There's always something that needs to be fixed, a phone call that needs to be answered. There's always something. But I will say in those 2 days, I could actually tell a difference in my body from just resting and not going anywhere. And so for me, part of my reset that I'll be pursuing through the rest of this year into 2024 will be when it comes to the aspect of my body, being able to actually feel rejuvenated in my body and not just saying, oh, I slept for 8 hours, but still getting up and I'm tired, right? And so that's been a big part for me. And I think it would do a lot of people well to pursue that. Because it's not till you really slow down that you realize how exhausted you are, how much inflammation you may have in your body, just anything. So that's been big for me. And I would say that's an important angle in order to get to the other parts of resetting. It was figuring out that wholeness and health within your body.
You know, it's crazy because like what you said, based about the couch thing, it almost made me realize like resetting helps you hack your life. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't reset or with your thoughts, understand the thoughts, you're not going to know like, okay, this couch is going to help me reset. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be like, okay, this aesthetically pleasing chair, I'm going to sit in and be stiff, but I'm not going to be able to, you know, I'm not going to ever reset. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something. Yeah, I think that's something very practical for people though, right? Because sometimes, you know, we talk about going on the big vacations and, you know, oh my gosh, I make more money. I have time for family and friends, which is true. But at the same time, they're just like practical things that you can do daily. And for me, that was one of them. I was like, I need to make sure I have furniture that fits my flow of life. I'm one of those people, when I get in the bed, I do have my phone next to me in the bed, at least for a few minutes anyway. I had to make sure I had the appropriate, this may be a little nerdy, y'all, but the appropriate size nightstand with the right height, the right charger. But it made a difference for me, right? It's something so small, but it's something that we don't think about. And so that helped with my flow and it created more ease in my life, which helps me embrace those aspects of resetting.
That's good. Talk to me, all right?
Yeah, no, that's good, man. I think I just want people to really grasp, you know, I don't want y'all to hear sofa, chilling, right? Like there's purpose. Nah, because, hey, like we got folks listening and we got folks really working on how they could get to the next level. And so I know Alalai and I understand how she works, and for her to work, she needs to work from the inside out. mind you, we should all be working from the inside out, because you can't start from the exterior and hope that the interior is going to catch up with that. It's a recipe for, it's a formula for disaster, right? Because you're going to get to where your destination, but can you stay there? And that's something I always tell people. So that's huge that, she's in a season, as she turns 23, that literally, it's more like, how can I cultivate an environment where my body, my mind, my spiritual, right, like all these elements are aligning with each other, which ultimately is going to give you the success, right? Which ultimately, and so I don't want y'all to really miss that. I don't want y'all to, sofa chilling, veggie now. Like, yeah, some of y'all need to stop veggie now. Period. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Like that's really your reset, because that you've been, and mind you, it's not even intentional. It's not because you're trying to align yourself to, like I told you, this month for me, yes, this month birthday for me, it's clarity. It's really like there's a lot of I've been doing, but this, I didn't just start doing this now. I've been on this all year. If y'all could recap and hear Jorge, I've been on some reflection, looking in the mirror, identify, right? And so the reset is always been, I'm a professional resetter. I'll give you an example. I learned how to reset when I was young and we were coming out of poverty. I had to deal with high school. I had to deal with a lot of this stuff that I have no information, no guidance, none of that. I get gunned down and there was another reset there, right? I had my whole life got pulled under me, right? I had to reset. And mind you, I didn't know even the word reset was a thing. It was more a survival mechanism, right? It was me, like, you either sit there, and you always hear me say, you either sit in it or you do something about it. I got to a point that even after the wheelchair, there was another reset in barbering, right? Like I had to identify, like, okay, like, this is not it. We're going to be collecting an SSI check for the rest of your life. Like, I can't live off $800 a month. Like, that's after this check is, after I pay the rent and a couple of things, I got like $10 to my name. That's not it. So there was a reset there. We went through COVID, right? There was a reset in COVID that the world experienced together. And I believe that, that was something that it scared a lot of people. It actually, activated a lot of traumas and triggers for a lot of folks. They had to go through something that they never really, were able to identify, and because the world's so noisy that even when they are resetting, they don't see it as a reset. And then, mind you, I'm in school now chasing this degree, right? So I have mastered the ability of resetting. What I want people to, and it's going back to why I started with what Alalai was saying, it's not so much the reset, it's the shift in your mindset before you press the reset, right? Naturally, as human beings, we reset all the time. Your body's going to reset, and literally, when I'm cutting hair, and I was cutting hair, I'm sitting down in a wheelchair, right? So when I'm cutting hair, there's this thing called, hanging length. A hanging length is just cutting your hair all the same length. When you do a hanging length, you have to hold the hair at a certain angle, a degree, which is a 0 elevation, so you could actually cut that hair with the perimeter all evened. Right? If you take that section of hair and you tend to pull it towards you, now that 0 elevation turns into a 90 degree. What you're doing is you're changing the actual perimeter of the whole haircut. So you would have to recut that because you're literally not evening it out. What happens is naturally, you're as human nature, when you're standing in front of that, right, you tend to pull the hair section towards you because it's easier. So naturally, your body, your brain is going to reset for you, and it's going to try to find the easiest way. It's going to try to find what let's not work too hard, or hey, let's just bring the head up to us. Okay, that feels more comfortable, but the reality is not going to give me the results that I'm seeking, because I need to stay down here, and I need to keep the hair at 0 elevation as I cut, so I could get the end result that I'm seeking. So your body naturally does these resets without even noticing. The intention behind shifting your mind before that reset, or why you are resetting, is the gold, is the key to me. In the beginning stages of my life, I didn't understand the concept of mindset. I didn't understand that when I was shifting, I was even doing it intentionally. I wasn't that deep. So I'm not going to say I'm like, yo, I knew my mindset and this was not, I was literally operating off a survival instinct. And so when I was in school, I started creating this, DJ, we talked about it, this persona of this tough guy, right? If you know me, I'm a goofball. Like, you guys know me. I love to joke around naturally. I'm someone that, but through my childhood, I had to create this persona, right, of literally this tough guy, because in my experience, the trauma I have gone through had put me in a space where either I looked at the world like you either a victim or a victor. And so I made a choice, conscious, a subconscious choice, way when I was younger, that I no longer want to be. I don't want to be a victim to nobody or anything. So that persona, that energy started creating this tough guy. You're not gonna disrespect me. Oh, you're not gonna do X, Y, Z. Oh, you're not gonna do right. That turns to fast forward into the day I got gunned down. Like, looking back, like, that was ego. That was just me acting, and mind you, I don't think that I could have gotten that was going to happen no matter what. Like, it was just one of those things. It happened faster than probably what it should have, because I had that energy and my mindset, my mindset was just stuck on like, I'm not going to be a victim, and me thinking that by me operating on for certain behaviors, I was going to end up on the better side of things. The reality is this: after I got gunned down, 2 years after, I was still, there was a reset, because now I'm in a wheelchair. So there's a reset. But my mindset was still stuck on that. Way before I got put in a physical chair, I had what we call the paralyzed mindset. So I was still in a wheelchair, right? Even though the life had resetted me, like, I'm no longer walking, I'm using catheters, I'm literally physically a different person. The mindset still hasn't shifted at that point. It's not only when I started realizing that there has to be a shift with this reset, it's when I started finding barbering. And even when I found barbering, there was a shift there, because I had to start looking at things in a different way. I said, okay, I need to do a reset. I will do a reset. At this point, what I'm doing is going to either catch me. At this point, I'm still doing the same behaviors that I was prior to me pulling in the chair. So what's next? It's either death or jail, and life in jail, right? So the reset was there, but the shift of me thinking of, okay, like, I got to do something with my time, and finding barbering, that put me in a space where I'm like, I have to start thinking that when somebody gets me upset, or I'm in an environment when I feel disrespected, it's not, we're not going to react to a physical response, right? And so that took some time, but it again, that the shift, and me being intentional and shifting my mindset and understanding that this reset that was coming was going to benefit me, was actually making me a better person, was literally, and mind you, at that point, when I was in the midst of that transition, I didn't know that that's what was happening. I just understood that what I was doing prior and everything that to this point was not working. So now we get through barbering. There was another shift, right? In becoming a shop owner. There were so many resets, but that came with the shift. And every level of my shift, I had to really, and it's going back to why I started saying that this month is, I've been really processing and thinking through what this year's been for me and what are some areas, because there's a shift coming in, not only in my career, but there's a shift coming in me as a leader, as a friend, as a husband, as a father, a man of God. And that shift, I'm in the process within this month to really identify what are those areas that I need to make sure that I'm intentional, because what's coming, what I have to dead the old Jorge to be able to get to the new space God has for me. If that makes sense. I know I went in a whole a mouthful of just kind of showing you that, navigating through that, but that's just where I'm at. Like, I really believe that the reset always comes, but you can't have a positive, healthy reset that aligns with where you're seeking to be if you're not shifting your mindset.
Right. And just to talk about shifting, right? Just going back to the word shift, because there there is, and in my personal experience, there's negative shifts, but there's also positive shifts. And I guess looking at the example of a car, it's like, okay, boom, when you shift in a car, you can shift into neutral. You know, you can shift into reverse. Neutral and reverse. Neutral could be seen as staying still. Reverse could be seen as going backward. But also, you could also shift into drive. You know what I'm saying? You can shift into 4-wheel drive. So it's like there's many different shifts. Some are just plateauing you. Some are taking you backwards. But you have to rock with the shift that's going to propel you forward.
But sometimes you need to take a shift backwards to go forward.
You learn,
and I believe that if anybody listens to Adelaide, I'd be like, oh, okay, like we're in a society that if you're not out there grinding and running through the door, that like she's not. No, she's actually, if you really know Adelaide, it's like, yo, I'm gonna park right here. I'm gonna take I'm gonna reverse. I'm a 3-point turn into this parking space. I'm gonna reset. I'm gonna identify what that shift and so the shift was slow down. Let's find a way to really, because you out here doing what you need to do. You out here grinding. You out here, building a business with us. You're out here, doing your career as well. You have family and friends. You're doing God's work. Like there's a lot that, don't get it twisted, you don't know about my sister. So she's out here she's moving and dabbling.
Yeah.
But in her season, right, I have to park. 3-point turn, reverse back into this parking space. Relax right here. Put this on neutral. Put this on parking, whatever. So there's been a couple of shifts, but it's been intentional shift. And that's why I said, when she said what she said, let's not get it. I don't want y'all to hear, because people sick in their head sometimes. They hear sofa. They hear. Hey, listen, I've been there, and right, and I gotta refrain myself for even thinking and processing sometimes. And that's why I'm huge with like, okay, what did that person mean? What does this information mean? Because I'll go straight to that paralyzed mindset, because I'm like, okay, nah, you got to understand what we're saying here. Whatever that is for you, remember the reset is so needed, and you have to become a pro at resetting, but that doesn't come with the proper shift of mindset. And why are you resetting? When are you resetting? And what's the outcome of your reset?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so interesting because you listed, I feel like, a lot, and yet there's still so much more in the background that, like, I do some things I've shared, some things I haven't shared, but I think something that was important for me was, my conviction is that I want to be fully in alignment with God and flow at an ease that I can walk through doors and I ain't got to kick them down, right? Like, that is my goal. And so for me to have a conversation with my therapist, right, to have some it's self-reflection and say, you know what, I've been going fast and furious. I'm burnt out. Yes, I have like family or whatever, but let me keep it a buck. Your girl's typically doing it herself, right? So what does that look like for me to not just rest for health, like physical health, but rest for the sake of alignment and trusting that God does what he says he's going to do. You know what I'm saying? And so always greater purpose, which is why I've said several times on the podcast, what does success mean to you? For me, success doesn't mean my body is broken down, but I have millions of dollars in the bank account. That doesn't work. It doesn't, it's not going to work for me to, okay, cool, I got the money, or, I have access to certain doors, certain rooms, but, mentally, I'm not in the most productive and positive space. It doesn't work for me. And so, baby, I'll throw this thing in park and reset as much as I need to. And at any point in time, I feel like I need to, if I feel like I'm veering off course, or if I feel like my health is slipping in some form or fashion, and remember that it's holistic health, not just physical health, because it's needed. I'm not committed to the grind for the sake of grinding. I'm committed to purpose and fulfillment and doing the things I feel like God has called me to do. And sometimes he's calling me to sit down. And you know what I'm going to do? Sit down.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit down on that very comfortable couch in the corner.
Can you break down that for the people, though? Like holistic health compared to mental health? Or break it down for me, too.
Well, yeah, like we're whole people. We are whole people. And so I think we get caught up when we're trying to fragment our success, where you're healthy financially, but your mental health is struggling. And mental health is not just depression and anxiety. Mental health is confusion. Mental health is negative mindset. Mental health is negative self-talk, right? Emotional health, that's something that we don't talk a lot about. Mental health and emotional health are different. So one of the things I do for myself, I've journaled. How am I feeling? And I work through emotions. So I can figure out what is real, what is triggered by something. Am I tripping? Have I had enough water? I'm going to keep it 100. Sometimes we just thirsty. We be like, I'm dying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we're making decisions dehydrated, okay? And it's taking us down the wrong path. So we're full people. You have to, really evaluate all aspects of yourself. How are you in your educational health? How are your financial health, your mental health, your emotional health? In it, spiritual is big. How are you in your spiritual health? So often we talk about health and it's just focused on the mental aspect of things. But I think even taking the evaluation to say, these are things that make up who I am, and really being honest about what am I feeling? What am I experiencing? Am I where I want to be across the board? Because if you have the career you want, but your relationships are trash, you might need to reset. No, not might. You do need to reset. You need to reevaluate. You need to reset, right? And so I think having that evaluation, that self-reflection time, that time of meditation, that time of prayer, that's how you start the shift. Because now you're able to identify, oh, I thought I was doing great in this area and not so much. So let me pivot. So the reason I brought up, my furniture, it's so simple. It's furniture. It's not like I went and bought some like $20,000 couch. That ain't the case, right? You go, went to a local store, found something. But the point was heavy on the yet. But the point was, their process is, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I love a clean apartment. I love a clean, sparkling apartment. But I don't necessarily want to be the one to make it sparkle. I'm gonna just keep it. Right?
Oh, that's all.
It's true. I love when my stuff is in order and nice and shiny and bright and smell all lemony and fresh. But that means it's just me here, right? So that means I got to be the one to make it smell lemony and fresh, unless I hire someone. So one of the things to help me rest, because I had to identify, you're going too much. You're burnt out. Burnt out is a level of not being healthy, right? So I'm creating processes, things, and putting things in place to help me live a life of ease. Hence the example of the couch. Hence the example of I put certain measures in place in terms of like cleaning and keeping my place clean. I don't do like old school granny used to wake you up, or mama wake you up at the crack of dawn on like a Saturday. I don't do that.
Get out of my business.
Right. I think most people of color, I think most people of color can identify to that all day cleaning session, right? But that doesn't work for me. So I put things in place to help me keep, stay on top of things. And that works for me. So that was the point of the couch, and like even buying new nightstands. And there are other things I'm going to be adding just into my home, going back to what Jorge said about environment, because I'm creating ease. Those things of ease help me enjoy and encapsulate the health and the rest. And, then I can say, okay, I've been doing something out of order. Let me reset. Right. But that evaluation was key for me. And again, that's all aspects of things. You're always rushing to get to where you need to be. Probably have an unhealthy relationship with time that you need to reevaluate, right? So it's that holistically, I think, society puts such a big focus on achieving in one area and then ignores the rest. We are whole people. Every aspect is important, not just one.
Right. It's really amazing that everything y'all have said just aligns with the definition of resetting. So the definition is an opportunity to heal, to let go of the old and embrace the new. And literally, y'all probably didn't even know that specific definition, but that's everything that we've talked about.
I've been studying the reset, so I came across it, and it really, that's why it's so important. But I like kind of touched on it, not kind of, but that's what she just went into saying is that, man, I know a lot of people that work on a reset and they're not successful with their reset because their mindset is not shifted. And that's a 1-2 punch, right? You can't do one without the other. You can't change your mindset and not reset, right? And in my eyes, like a lot of y'all's like, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna do better. I want better, but then you don't reset and you don't get caught. You get caught up in what you've been doing last season. It's like, yo, okay, like you gotta give yourself a pat on the back and say, yo, it's all right. Like we're not gonna sit on that any longer. And that's where I've been able to master, guys, right? To be honest with you, I've been able to master the fact of like, okay, yeah, you look kind of silly going through that. Like you went through a silly season. You look kind of, excuse my French, but feeling stupid. And I could sit in that and feel embarrassed, but I'm like, I don't know. In my head, it's always been like, yo, like, let's get through that. Like, all right, like what can we do now? And I want y'all to really understand that all goes back to how you process and think and really, you got to learn, like going back to what Alex was saying, it's all the above. Learn how to let go of things. Some of us emotionally just don't know how to let go. And that right there doesn't allow you to, it doesn't allow you to reset properly. And then you find yourself chasing your tail. And then this is where your self-esteem comes down and your confidence drops. Why? Because now you're not even doing what you said you was going to do. So it becomes a cycle, right? It becomes to me, insanity is continue to do something that is just like, it doesn't work. And so, how many people in my, like, I come across conversations and they call me, and you've been saying the same thing for 6 months to a year, like the same thing, but still operating off the same behaviors. And then when you reset, because I could see you on social media, I could see how you're doing certain thing that it's like a reset. It's a type of, I'm going to do this different. But your mindset, it hasn't shifted. You still stuck on what same emotional struggles. Why? Because it's going back to what Alalai just spoke of. You're not doing the rooted work. You're not, and you're not going back and becoming whole. And you have to be whole before you get to a point of getting the results you're seeking. So we could go on, and this could be a 3-part episode, right? But the reality is this. I know I could speak for myself. I'm in a season. It's not just about resetting, because it's really operating off of what is the ultimate reset, right? And the ultimate reset, because we started talking about what the ultimate reset is, going back to working from the inside out, understanding that for you to be able to get to that next level, you have to be whole. And that consists of everything that we just mentioned there. But also, like, what is that? What is that for you? And I think that a lot of times we don't know what that is for us. And we let other people's journey, other people's goals, other people's mission statement, right? Mission and vision. And when we do start seeking or chasing something, it doesn't allow us to be whole, because that's not our mission. And
Right.
And so first step that I want you to do is have a whole, what's the homework? Like, what's your mission, right? Like, peel that back. What's your purpose? And your purpose is something that is not for you, right? And we talk about purpose. So, like, okay, for me to be able to do what I do, at a high level, it's to give away my purpose. My purpose is the ability to connect with others, the ability to help people develop, the ability to help people realize that life is what you make, right? I've gone through XYZ, not because that's what God had for me, but that's just how he used me to be able to do his work. But I realized that for me to be able to do that and walk into my purpose, I have to really be whole. For me to be whole, I have to understand, how does that tie into everything God needs me to be? And so that goes back into me understanding that I will let go of things that don't work the right way, or people that don't work the right way, or situations that are out of my hand, because I am in the image of Daddy, right? I was sharing with DJ just something this morning, that I went to a restaurant and I went back to a certain behavior, Alalai, because of a certain moment, and it was just like, okay, you still have some residue inside of you. You still gotta. And so, again, reflecting and identifying, like, yo, what is Like I've done resetting, but the
Yeah.
the mindset still hasn't shifted completely. Right? I'm on neutral, so I can't go forward or backwards. I'm stuck in certain areas. What is that for Jorge? Because for Jorge to get to that financial freedom, and for Jorge to get to a point where there's certain rooms that God is going to give you certain opportunities, you got to make sure that we clean out that residue. We don't. You ever sat on the table, right, after somebody used it, and you're in a restaurant and it's sticky, it doesn't look dirty, or you put your hands on and it's still sticky, there's still residue dirt. Yeah, that right there is a thing. And so that's the season I'm in. It's just really making sure that being intentional, shifting that perspective, identifying where there's a lot of programming where we come from, that we have used for majority of our life to defend ourselves, protect ourselves. But right now, this season is hurting, and it's keeping us from what God has for us next season. So again, combination of the reset, but really identifying that number one, you need to be whole. From being whole, you need to really start looking at not the cup being halfway empty or halfway full, like I always tell you, but understanding that you are the cup. And then after that, okay, what is the proper reset? What are the proper things that are going to align with what I want or what God needs for me as we go into this next season?
And let me say this, because I think where a lot of people get caught up or stuck is kind of like what we talked about in a previous episode, is that self-awareness part. Like some people will come to the realization that whatever their issue is, they're like, oh, this is my issue. And it'll stop right there. And they think they can like chant their way, or like, I'm just going to speak positive until I get there. Y'all, like, get the help that you need to move forward. Help comes in a lot of different forms. And most of us need kind of like a vitamin. You like got a multivitamin, got a little bit of everything in it. You're going to need help from different angles. So that may mean getting a financial coach, getting a therapist, going to talk to your pastor. If you don't have a pastor, maybe finding a pastor and joining a church, or whatever your thing is, right? Like you're going to have to be honest with yourself, and then do that applied self-awareness where you start putting in the action to get the help that you need. It's not enough just to say, oh my gosh, I realize this is my issue. And then you're like trying to move forward saying, I no longer this thing, or I no longer have this problem. That doesn't work.
Amen.
A lot of people do that. That doesn't work. So save your time and go get the help that you need on the upfront, because that will definitely be a catalyst for it.
Hey, download this episode and send it to someone that needs to hear that. This is another form of shifting that mindset and giving you some insight on what it is. And before we close out, man, I just want to say I truly appreciate everybody that has been downloading the podcast, has been engaging with us. We love you. We appreciate you, man. We started this off of just, hey, let's just create a platform where we could share our growth. And so the Paralyzed to Prosperous podcast is exactly that. Life and business. And we're going to always be transparent. We're going to show you where we are being paralyzed and how we get from that paralyzed to prosper, because the goal is to always get on the other side of your blessing. So I just wanted to take a moment and just say thank you. There's some things coming in the works where we've been working, and we always looking to make that reset, right, as a company, as individuals. So don't ever get it twisted. The JSA brand and team, and we stand for, we are who we say we are, and we work really hard to operate off of that energy. And so you're always gonna get the real, you're gonna get the good, the bad, and the sexy through this process. And I'm super proud to not only do this and be chosen by God, but to do it with these two beautiful folks, human beings that I love and dearly appreciate in my life, because they make me better and they sharpen me as we go and grow, spiritually, physically, financially, and leadership, right? Like we always talking about leadership. Leadership starts within ourselves. So share this podcast, continue to pass the word. We truly appreciate you, and we're going to continue working in the back end of things to make sure that we continue creating services, products that are going to help, you and everybody else, including ourselves, to get to that next level. Because one thing that we live by is refuse to lose mindset. And so we're going to figure this out together. Some things are coming up for the close of 2023 We're going to go into 2024 with a whole different energy, and we're holding each other accountable to that. So stay tuned, download, subscribe. I need y'all to pass this around and really put it into some folks, hands that is going to help them, because there's a lot of folks right now that are feeling isolated. They feel like they don't have what it takes to get to the next level. And we always, if you've been listening to us and you've been rocking with the brand, we always share, like, it's not that we deep like that, and it's not that we don't go through that. It's that we choose not to stay in it. And so get them around the fire, get them into a space where they're are going to get the right information, again, right? Because not all information is good. And just know that, not only we love you, but God loves you, most important. So I don't know if you want to close this out, DJ, but that's just, I wanted to share that's been in my spirit.
No, you did your thing. You definitely closed it out. Hey, just make sure to follow us on all platforms. The calendar is getting filled up, but I know that Jorge is available for 2020 in the 2023 and 2024 bookings. So make sure y'all tap into the site booking tab and stay tuned for things that's coming. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.